Hello and welcome to the RPG Academy podcast Twitch channel. My name is Michael. A couple minutes early, but I was already here, so I thought, why not? Jumping back into some Dragon Warrior 2 as part of Michael Plays the Classics. Same plan today as there was yesterday. She looks like a little sun on my nose today. I mowed the yard. Grinding for some levels. This area that I'm at, it's going pretty quick. Leveling up fairly fast, even though I'm down a whole lot. So I figure let's just keep doing that for a little while. And then we'll see, how we're feeling after today. Maybe Thursday, and then we might end the week with an actual attempt to get to the end. We shall see. Excuse me. So I know I'm actually pretty close to leveling up one of the characters. I think it's Alani, but the other two are pretty far away. But again, at the rate that I'm getting experience yesterday, just about 1,000 every battle. So I think it's doable in a 30 to 45 minute session to get one of those, maybe, including the one that I think I'm going to level as soon as I finish this battle. Excuse me. I did mow the yard and now my allergies are acting up a little bit. All right, so Alani got leveled, power by 4, reaction speed 7, 7 hit points. I'll take it. 11 magic points. Very nice. And a new spell. That's exciting. Let's see what this new spell is. Open. Interesting. I don't know what that does. Fight spell. Well, it's not an offensive spell, that's for sure. So we played Shadow Spawns last night. It's our 13th Age live stream game. It went very well. There was 2 sessions in a row that were very sort of mythology story heavy, mostly role play, mystery type stuff. And it took a little finagling, and the middle part sagged just a little. But I was able to end on a really nice sort of cliffhanger moment. Which I knew I was going to get to that session, but I actually thought it was going to happen more to the middle, and we would actually get past it. And then I could just, as the session was going on, I realized, okay, we're not going to get there early. So rather than trying to rush it, I slowed down so that I could end on that. So overall, I was very, very happy with how that session went. And we actually had one of our highest viewings ever. We got rated by another channel. It wasn't a huge channel, but it brought in some people that I don't think we normally get. And a couple of them stuck around for a while. And then we also, very excitedly, somebody dropped in, Mellow Man, dropped 5 gift subscriptions. So we're actually up to 9 subscribers, which is more than we've ever had on the channel. I think at one point in the past we got up to 6 at one time, but we've basically been like 2 or 3 for the most part. And so right now we're at 9. I know that I think that lasts for like a month. I don't think it's obviously a forever thing. Oh no! Oh no! Well, that was quick. I don't know if she'll be able to get back by herself, but that's pretty exciting stuff. Nope, she's dead. Yep, there it is. We're still on our track to get to 600 followers. We're at 524 as of right now. Okay, so I need 25,000, 22,000, and 48,000. Whoa. Well, I guess she did just level. But that's still a lot. I don't think that's the highest numbers I've seen yet. And, she's the lowest leveled character. But basically I need about 20 fights, depending on, specifically what happens in them. But yeah, so if anybody is watching now or checks us out in the future, love for a follow. Once we get to 600, we're going to give away that Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft that's coming out next month. If we were to happen to get to 600 before it comes out, and I can get a copy of the book, which are two separate things, then we might actually get more than 600. And then if you're subscribed, then you get entered twice. So I think right now we have 9 people that are subscribed, so they would be entered twice. So we'd actually be drawn from 609, I guess, possible winners. That just seems fair to me. The people who are subscribed, I feel like that should be a nice little bonus. It's not a guarantee, not overwhelming odds, but a little bonus. So I'm excited about that. Worked on Action 12 Cinema this morning a little bit. I've got 2 sections left that I have very rough first drafts of, but I'm not really happy with either of them. But they're kind of short sections, and I specifically left them for last. So I definitely want to go over them again. I'll probably do that tomorrow, do it one more time on Friday, and then I'm still on target to turn it in on Saturday. My first draft, and first time I've had a deadline for a first draft on something like this. And, I've kind of hit it. That's exciting. Very proud, but also terrified that it's awful and that it's going to fail and I'm going to be embarrassed and, all that kind of good stuff. So hopefully this is just me being me, but we shall see. That rhymed. Didn't mean for it to, but I saw it coming and I leaned into it. Oh no, fell asleep. I hate fall asleep effects. And other things I hate. Let me just vent for a minute. No matter what, there should always be an option on a phone answering, call center service to go to a person. I understand that the point of those automated responses is to try to filter out calls that go to people because they think they can answer questions and not have to have as many people on staff. But there are some cases where you just need to talk to someone. And if there is literally no way to do that, I don't have high blood pressure anymore, but I did earlier today. Absolutely was just screaming into my phone. I was so angry. And it's dumb. I shouldn't be that angry. I know better, but I just can't help it sometimes. Excuse me. So I'm scheduled for a medical procedure next week for my kidney stones, which, knock on wood, I actually, I had a pretty bad attack about a week ago now. Excuse me. But for the most part, I've been pretty symptom-free this time. But I have a procedure set up to do lithotripsy, which is where they shock it like with sound waves to try to explode them so that they'll pass easier because one of them's kind of big. And before I can have the procedure, I have to get a COVID test. Makes sense. Okay, fine, no problem. But because of our insurance, again, being the way it is, I think I've explained before, sort of destruction, that's clearly a cursed item. I'm not going to put that on yet. It's like a 3-hour drive roughly to go to the same place where the procedure is going to be. So they told me I could get a COVID test down here where I live, and then that would count. But it has to be a specific version of the test. It can't be the rapid test. It has to be the PCR test. I don't know what PCR means, but that's just what they told me. So I was calling around to see if all the people who, Alani, who do the test around here, do they have the option of doing the PCR test or do they only do the rapid test? And that's what I wanted to know. I needed to ask a person because nothing in the automated call system was telling me that. So I needed to actually ask a person. And I probably spent half an hour going around in circles trying to find that out. I finally did get through to someone, and then they were very quickly like, nope, we don't do that. Great. Thank you. No problem. But did I have to spend half an hour going through your call service to get to that. Like there should always be a way to bypass that. And I think it's just very, very, very poor customer service to not even have the option. It's like, nope, you cannot talk to a person no matter what. All right, that's me stepping off my soapbox now. So I think that's it. Oh, detention. Detention tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Detention Live. We have a guest from the Battle Lords people. I think Dave is their name. I should know this. I think I know their Twitter handle, but I don't know their name. And Chris will be my normal co-host. So 9 o'clock Eastern. If you've never checked out a detention, they're a lot of fun. It's sort of a loosey formatted role-playing game talk show. So we do some improv games poorly, but they're kind of fun. We talk about what we've been up to, talk about some role-playing game stuff. We talk about some monsters that you might encounter in a role-playing game and try to brainstorm some, interesting ways that we could use them in a fight beyond just hit them with the stick until they die. That's one of my favorite parts. And then we do a little audience Q&A section. So if anybody is watching, they can ask some questions. It runs usually an hour, maybe an hour and a half at the absolute most, but they're absolutely a ton of fun. So I highly encourage you, if you are interested and willing, to come hang out with us tonight. So I'm pretty sure the only thing in this area is that last castle. Ooh. No, I don't want to do that because I'm almost guaranteed that that's not going to work. But I might as well kind of look around and see if I find anything else while I'm just trying to level. Hey, Sumkey. How are you doing today? Nice. Happy to hear it. You just missed my story where I complained about trying to call and find out about a COVID test that got my blood pressure up today. But honestly, I'm doing pretty well. Got my walk in this morning. It's supposed to start raining here in a little bit, so I walked a little earlier than normal. And I mowed the yard. Got that all mowed before the rain comes in. It didn't really need it, but it's supposed to rain the next couple of days, and I figured by the time I would get back to it on the other side, it might be then too high. So went ahead and did it. So really no major complaints. No one listens if you do, right? I missed whether or not that spell did anything. Okay, yeah, it did. So that's actually a pretty effective combo there to lower its defense, so I can actually do some damage. Do. Nice. I'm a big proponent of walking. It's literally been a miracle worker for me with all my weight loss. Though a lot of that was also obviously tied to the surgery I had, but still, love me a good walk. I think I may have done the tactics of this battle pretty poorly. I think I should have focused on the Cyclops first, because I think I could have taken both of them out quicker than I could have the kill bot there, and that would have reduced the number of attacks I'm taking. Yep, and now she's dead. I do love the weather just before a rain. It's, obviously it's not cold, but it was actually really really nice here today. It was like 66 degrees when we woke up, and so just beautiful all day long. But that sort of like the clouds gray, the wind picks up, like the leaves on the trees turn over, and you sort of like just smell rain on the air. Some of my favorite just times in the world on this earth have been just before a rainstorm. All right, so now we're down. Looks like we need like 11,000, I think, for the middle character. So again, roughly 11 fights or so. I hear the wife talking to the dog. It's funny. Do, do, do. Whoa! And it's wild how quickly that things can change. Because I think Artho was like the one that was actually closest to leveling, so he won't get any of these 1,000 experience, which honestly isn't a whole lot. But at least I'm right here. Yeah, so 13, still 11. So I need 11 fights if I don't die in the middle of any of them. So fight, explode it. Oh, I hate things that make you fall asleep. I hate things that breathe fire on you too, I guess, Man, these baboons are just not going to go down easy. I'm going to try maybe stop spell next time. I don't really use that a whole lot, but maybe I need to. Well, stop spell worked. I don't know if that's an indicator that it will work again in the future, but it's good to know. And at least no one died. And again, I'm right here. It's almost kind of sad that I have to keep doing this, but that's part of the reason I feel like maybe I need to. Because if I'm having so much trouble right here, it just makes me think that maybe I'm not ready for the final boss yet. That's not always true. There are some cases where, the difficulty of the boss isn't that kind of related to the area around it, but it makes me worried. Nice. See, those fights are just way too tough for that little experience. Maybe I should just start running from those things because I don't think that they're worth the resource expenditure. Try to sleep. All right, that didn't work. I mean, every little bit helps, I guess. Whoops. Is anybody watching The Nevers on HBO? I think I mentioned it a couple days back. Yes, Foxblade doing a little more grinding today. But I'm still really enjoying The Nevers. I thought the pilot was brilliant. So there's the cave I came out of. And I thought the second episode was a little bit of a step down. But then I thought the third episode was actually a return to form. It had some really cool moments in it. So yeah, I'm still really digging The Nevers. So it's on HBO Max. It's how would you describe it? Heal. Try Firebane, spell, defense. So it's set in 1899 Victoria, London. Though it actually, the very beginning is 1896. And then there's an event where just a percentage of the population begin to develop essentially superpowers. They call them turns in the show. And it seems to have affected women more than men. So originally I thought it was like just women, but it's not. It's men and women, but the majority of those afflicted were women, or affected, not afflicted. And yeah, so it's kind of neat. So there's a lot of like old white men in power who don't like the fact that these women can do things and now they can't. Some people think it's like some sort of attack from another country that's been perpetrated. There's some classism, there's some sexism, there's some great Victoria era costumes. But I'm just really enjoying the show so far. And yeah, so it was created by Joss Whedon, and he wrote and directed the first episode. But I believe he actually was like fired from the show, and he's no longer a part of it. But it's definitely got his fingerprints all over it. There are some characters that just are straight up like, okay, that's Kaylee from Firefly. That's this character. But again, Joss Whedon turns out, wasn't a great person, but he's a hell of a writer, and I really like some of the shows he's made. So I try to separate the artist from the art, I guess, where it's convenient for me to do so. But I'm still enjoying the show. I plan on still watching it, but there is that little bit in the back of my head of, oh, man. Lonnie's never going to level up if she keeps getting murderized. So 77 and 6,000. All right, I think we can do that. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Hmm. That's unfortunate. I have to say, I actually am enjoying HBO Max probably more than I thought I would when I first signed up for it. There's a lot of good stuff on there. And for me personally, the Harley Quinn show, that's worth the price of admission. I absolutely loved that show. And I think there's two seasons, maybe three, and there's another one coming. It's it was one of the two best things I watched in all of I think 2020. That and Ted Lasso were just so good, so much fun, and yeah, definitely Harley Quinn is worth even like 1 month and then just blow through everything, but try to get through Harley Quinn. It's so good. So I still haven't watched Mortal Kombat. I started it and I fell asleep during it, and then I'm like, well, if I fell asleep, what does that say about this movie? And maybe it says nothing. Maybe it says more about me and where I was at that point in time. But yeah, I wasn't super impressed with what I had saw. So maybe it's just me. I know a lot of people seem to really like it, and I'm happy for those people that they are enjoying it. But yeah, I don't think that one's for me. I got two of them fall asleep. That alone was probably worth that spell. But I'm kind of into bad movies. Like I am, literally writing a game about playing through a bad movie plot. But that one just didn't work for me. But again, that may be more about me than it. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I watched the first Mortal Kombat movie back. What was that in the '90s or something? Very different time. I was a very different person then, I guess. But um, I'm sure in so many ways this one is better. But better doesn't always mean better. If you know what I mean. I think I've survived two whole fights this cycle. That's almost unheard of for me. He says just before he dies. And these are the things that cast that stupid spell that just flat out kills you. Defense is okay. It's the defeat spell that's just like unfair. Yeah, I don't know what it is because I mean, I also love martial art movies. Absolutely love those types of movies. I like video games. Um, so I mean, you would think I probably should be like the target audience. Well, the target audience is probably younger people today, but I'm a person that should be built for liking that movie, but it just something about it just didn't connect with me right off the bat. So I was kind of like that with King Kong versus Godzilla. Like I went into that movie knowing that it was not going to be a good movie, and it is not a good movie. But I had fun with it. I was able to just sort of enjoy, the silliness. But yeah, Mortal Kombat not so much. Oh, finally, here we go. We leveled. Artho promoted to the next level. 7 power. That's good. He needs some attack. Good reaction speed. 9 hit points. That's not bad. 6 magic points. That's pretty solid. I'm happy with that. I know he'll never get caught up to the main character's power level, but I need him to get closer because I need that other someone that can attack stuff and actually, deal some damage. Especially when my main character misses. I just did 100 points of damage to that thing and it didn't die. I didn't realize it was that tough. Right, I should get Kale leveled up. 6 power, 2 reaction speed, 5 hit points. I really need some more hit points with him. Like I want, can we get 10? 10, is that too much to ask? 10 hit points? I don't think it's too much to ask. So I guess at this point now we're working towards Alani getting leveled. So she's probably still around 40,000 away, I would guess. I mean, I guess it's possible that one of the other two actually still need less than her. I'll check that here in a minute when someone dies and I have to go back. Ooh. Nice. All right, so we're just gonna, nope, jump back, hit the old free heal up button. So yeah, 27, 35, and 24. All right, we'll do a little bit more today. I don't actually have to get the kids today. They have Odyssey of the Mind today, so got a little bit extra time, but still want to try to keep these to under an hour. Nice. All three of them are blocked. Oh, I guess Scorching Flames isn't a spell they cast. That's just a thing they do. So yeah, they're really enjoying it so far. John did it last year, and they actually won state, and then they were supposed to go to regionals, but then regionals were canceled because of COVID, so they didn't get to go. And then this year, um, they were the only team that competed in person, so they basically won by default. And they're not having regionals this year. They're going straight to Worlds. So they actually get to go to the World competition, which is in Orlando. So we're still trying to figure out if we actually want to do that or not. Both the wife and I are fully vaccinated, and obviously kids are not, but it seems like kids are, the effects on them have been lesser. And John is old enough, he would be able to get the 12-year-old and up vaccine when that rolls out here. So I don't know. I think we're actually leaning towards doing it, but it kind of scares us a little bit at the same time. Um, but yes, and then I know, if it wasn't Florida, it would be a little bit easier decision. But the fact that it's in Florida too, ugh. But so Jacob is our youngest, and they actually needed someone to step in to Odyssey, and so they had an opening, so they let him. So now they both do it. So it's cool. Poor Jacob, he's doing baseball this year and soccer. He's done soccer since he was like 3. He's actually, I mean, I don't think he's going to hit the pros or anything, but he's good at it. He's, usually he's one of the best couple out on the field whenever he's playing. And but this year he wanted to do baseball because his cousin was doing it, and he is not anywhere nearly as good at baseball as he is soccer. But he's working hard. I do super appreciate that. But first practice, literally first practice, before we went. I bought him a glove and we went out in the yard and we played catch a little bit because we literally have just never played catch. Like a baseball is just not a thing that we necessarily do. We've never watched a baseball game. So we, tossed the ball a little bit, try to let him work in his glove. And then first time at practice, not even 5 minutes in, he gets hit right in the face with the baseball. He goes to catch it, misses it, and bam, right in his face. So that was a thing. It was very, very hard for me not to just run out there and check on him. The wife's like, let the coaches handle it, let the coaches handle it, which was the right decision, but it's still, it's hard when you see your kid out there. He wasn't even bloody. The kid throwing it doesn't have an arm either, so it wasn't like it was a really hard pitch or anything, or not a pitch, but throw. And then his last practice on Tuesday, he went to pick up a grounder, missed it, and hit him right in the knee. And he's got this big bruise on his knee. So he's been walking around limping. I'm sure he's milking it a little bit, but it's just like, you try to teach kids and you can't be afraid of the ball, can't be afraid of the ball. He's kind of got a reason to be afraid of the ball. He keeps getting hurt by the ball. All right, so it looks like she's at 21,000 away and Kale's actually at 22, so they're really close together. I don't think I'll be able to get them leveled up today, uh, but maybe get a little bit closer. And then just a reminder, if anyone's interested, please come check us back out tonight. Detention live. It's one of my favorite things that we do here at the Academy. It's a ton of fun. Foxblade, who's been hanging out with us today, has been there. Um, he's been on a couple times, so he can speak to it. It's a ton of fun. Maybe not as much to watch as to participate, but hopefully also fun. Yeah, we went to one of his first games, and I guess they do mixed gendered because there's just not that many, I guess, girls that are wanting to play. So there's a few teams that have girls on there. And this story doesn't even really matter that it was a girl, I guess. I don't know why I'm even qualifying it that way. But I saw a girl get hit in the back with the ball and it looked like it hurt. And she was very upset and cried. And I don't blame her. I would have cried too. So they are doing kid pitch. So like there's a pitcher on the team and it's mixed age, so I think it's like 10 to 12 maybe, or 9 to 11. But there's some kids on there that can throw it hard, but they do not have good aim. Uh, they also do a pitch count, so some of the boys, or not boys, some of the kids who are more advanced, they play on a travel team. So on the weekends, they have a separate team that's made out of like just like the good kids on the teams, and they travel around and compete. And so each team generally has like one uh, kid who's like the pitcher, but you have to have backup pitchers because they keep the kids on a pitch count. So if they're going to go to a tournament that weekend, the pitches they throw in the games that my son's in the league counts. So you just have to manage your pitch count, I guess. So you can't let one kid can't pitch the whole game. And we had to change to our backup pitcher, and he hit three people in a row. And at that time, our kids, like my son's team, was winning like by a lot. It's like 7-2, maybe, or 6-1. And it was the last inning for the other team to bat, because since our team was up, if they got back up, it would just be over. And I'm like, they should just let this kid keep hitting them because he's going to hit every single person, and they're going to just walk in 12 runs. But one of the things that I don't watch a lot of baseball, but I was surprised by is how much base stealing there is in my son's little league. I guess it's because the kids aren't the best at like throwing people out. So half the time, if they try to throw someone out, they end up missing, and then the ball just goes flying over someone's head. So they steal bases all the time. If you get on base, it's almost guaranteed that they're going to steal unless like the next batter hits directly into like a double play or something. And but the kids on the other team, they kept trying to steal bases, and they were actually getting thrown out. So we got 3 outs on the people he walked because they kept trying to steal bases. And I'm just like, if they will just stop, they will win this game. But no one listened to me. So, what do I know, right? But luckily, no one got really, really hurt. But yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I think my kid got lucky with the team that he got on. They actually are pretty good so far. They're 2-0, and last year they competed in the championship. I guess they didn't win because they said they competed. Oh, hold on a second here. Ah, sorry, somebody jumped into chat with some stupid stuff, so I'm trying to figure out how to um, deal with them. There we go. I think I did that right, so I think I just banned those two people. But yeah, so it's kind of funny. But anyway, so yeah, my kid is actually on like a pretty talented team overall. So he's getting, he doesn't, they don't get crushed every time they play. But he's actually going to miss the championship if they do make it this year. That's right when we go on our annual vacation. So the week of what would be the championship, we're going to be out of town. But still, he's enjoying it. I will admit it's kind of nice to see him out there in his uniform. He's super cute. The baseball pants and the big socks and then his hat and everything. So it's kind of fun, and we're comfortable enough because it's outside. It's pretty well spread apart that it's safe enough for them to practice and to play, and he's really enjoying it. So these silver baboons are decidedly easier than the other ones. So I don't know. Were you checking out the stream at all last night, Foxblade? Did you watch any of Shadow Spawns? Ah, crap! I hit the wrong button. Dagnabbit. Nice. They both fell asleep. That's cool. I just wanted to, I don't know if you saw, but we had somebody drop 5 gift subscriptions in again, I don't know how all that works, but so we're up to 9 subscribers now, which again is so much more than I think we've pretty much ever had before, which was exciting. So again, just kind of a cool thing. Oh, nice. So I assume that's like a 1 month um, subscription. I guess that's how that works. I don't know. But then we also got rated later by the other doc, who's someone who's in our Discord. They're not super active with our stuff, but I think a couple of our people have joined them for like some of the streams they run. So we had like 7, 8 people show up that we don't usually get, and they hung out for a while. So that was cool. So we had a pretty nice sized group. It was a fun game. We ended up rolling 2 checks the entire night, and the second was a vibe check. Like, just want to see what kind of vibe they were giving off, which I just thought was hilarious. And it ends on a really big kind of a cliffhanger moment, which was nice. So I was very happy with how the session turned out. It's funny that no matter how many games I run, I always go into them nervous and like kind of scared. Like, we could cancel tonight if no one's up to it. No one feels bad. It's fun. And then once we get going, I'm like, I get so into it, and I have so much fun. So I don't know if I'm ever going to get over that. No matter how many games I run, I still get nervous right before. All right, so I think I've checked everywhere. So I don't think there is any place that I have missed as far as anything else in this area. So we'll head back and yeah, and I like when I go to a convention and I run a game, it's um, it's scary. But yeah, live stream games have been kind of nervous. It's not we have a huge audience. We had well, I think last night we had up to like 15 people maybe at one time, which I think is the most we've ever had on anything we've done. So it's not like there's a ton of people watching, but it is a little different when you have people watching and I assume judging you for everything you do or don't do. I don't know, maybe people aren't, but it's just what I feel like. If someone's sitting there watching, I feel like they're going to be like, "Oh, he shouldn't have done that," or "Oh, why did they do this?" or "I wish they would do more of that." And so I get into my own head a little bit. But once we get rolling, I can generally push that all out and just have fun with it. But that few moments just before the game starts is always terrifying. That's interesting. So it looks like, oh, maybe it's not interesting. I thought it was completely somewhere else. Dog's barking downstairs. Excuse me. Nice. I've been painting some minis. I haven't been doing the streaming of the painting. I want to get back to that. It just hasn't been, what's the word? I can't think of the word. Hasn't worked out, I guess. But I have still been doing some painting. The new X-Men United Kickstarter is still ongoing. It's got about 6 days left. So I'm painting the Marvel United minis I got earlier this year for the previous can't talk, can't think, blah 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 Kickstarter they did, and enjoying it quite a lot. So I'm really having fun painting them. I'm still really bad at it, but again, when you hold the mini like this far away, they look really good. When you look at them really close, they do not. So the secret has been to look at them from this far away after I've put a couple coats on. If I just look back, go, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And I don't really try to get too fancy. Like sometimes I don't paint the bases. Sometimes I just don't paint certain parts if I don't think it's going to look good. Which again, I want to get better eventually. So I'm sure the goal is that if I keep doing it, even if I'm, you know, every little bit's helping me get better, and then eventually I will be doing those things. That dog's going crazy. Ah, yep. Yeah, they seem to look great on the table, and that's honestly all that I care about. But it's still fun to do. I just finished. So right now I'm focused on the villains. I have a few like in between different ones I've done, but for the most part right now I'm trying to focus on them because there's so many heroes. I don't know which heroes I'm going to end up using, but there's not. Well, there's still a lot of villains, but there's less villains. So I figure if I get through all the villains first, then I'm more likely to be able to use one in the game. So I finished up Baron Zemo. I had started with a Kingpin just sort of randomly. I thought they'd be easy because he's kind of a big dude. There's not a whole lot of detail necessarily to his mini, and there's a lot of white. And so I have his done. Baron Zemo's done, and right now I'm working on Black Dwarf, which actually again looks pretty darn good so far. I'm again pretty happy with how it looks at the moment. So I think next is Carnage, which might be a little bit more difficult because it's got all those tendrils that come off of them, and make sure I get all the nooks and crannies can sometimes be difficult. But if anyone has not checked out the Kickstarter, I get no money from them, but I think the game is kind of fun. The Kickstarter is crazy. It just crossed $3 million. The last one did like 2.8 million. So this one's even bigger. I'm spending way too much money that I do not have on the Kickstarter, but I'm absolutely that person that I'm going to do the all in, whatever it costs, because I just want all of them. And I don't have a budget for Kickstarter this year because I'm spending that money on Action 12 Cinema. So I'm not smart, is all I'm saying. All right, so pretty much one more fight. I think I'll be out of resources, and then I'll probably call it there. Plus, it's getting close to an hour, and I definitely want to keep these under that. So we're going to fight the Cyclops first, just to try to get rid of it so that it won't hurt us. That's true, but I had to prime it. So it's right now red with a whole bunch of streaky streaks on it. That's one thing I don't know that I do a very good job of priming. When I first started painting minis, I started with a different game system. It's the same people who did the Batman game. I think Monolith. They did a Conan the Barbarian type game. And then I was using spray paint. So I'd got a spray paint primer. Ooh. And I think it looked better overall. But I did lose a little bit of the detail because I'm just not good with using spray paint. So I got a little thick in places. And so I decided to start brushing it on, and that's what I do now. But like they don't look great. So I only need 6,000, less than 6,000 for Kale. That's definitely doable. and 4,000. So, all right, we'll still call it here, but that just means next time, or really early on, we'll be able to get somebody leveled. So yeah, so it is red, but it's red with some really bad gray primer streaks. So I still have to cover those up. But anyways, thank you both, Foxblade and Sumkey, so much for hanging out. I love it when people talk in chat. It just seems like it's more entertaining, at least for me, hopefully for other people too. But if you were here but you weren't chatting, that's cool as well. Lurkers are always welcome. And please consider coming back tonight, 9 o'clock for Detention Live. And if not, hopefully I'll see you back tomorrow for more Dragon Warrior 2. Thanks and goodbye.